Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. In the previous episode, we saw how SriRamchandra entered the palace of Dasaratha Maharaja to take leave to the forests. SriRamchandra speaks to Sumantra, the charioteer and also the minister of Dasaratha Maharaja. He was an expert at driving a chariot, but at the same time, more than that, very importantly, Sumantra was a very, very close aid and associate of Dasaratha Maharaja. So Sri Ramachandra goes and tells Sumantra that, seeking permission to go and see the king. Sumantra then goes to the king, Dasaratha Maharaja, and asks him if Sri Ramachandra can come and see him. Dasaratha Maharaja immediately asks for all his wives to be brought to the chamber. All the wives are there. Some say that the count is 300 plus, because Dasaratha Maharaja was getting married every time Parshurama was trying to attack him, so that Parshurama would not come and attack this particular kingdom. That's a story that's not written in Srimad Ramayana though, so I'm not speaking about the veracity of it. But then he's a Dakshinanayaka, he could have multiple wives, so all those women were brought in. Obviously Kausalyama and Sumitra also would have been brought in, because though that's not very explicitly mentioned in this particular sarga, but yes, when he invited all his wives into that palace, obviously that means that Kausalyama and Sumitrama also would have been present there. And then he asks Sri Ramachandra to walk in. So Sri Ramachandra comes and Dasaratha Maharaja stands up and he runs towards Sri Ramachandra, and all of a sudden he breaks down and falls. Sri Rama and Lakshmana, they both run and they take care of Dasaratha Maharaja. Here Lakshmana is addressed as Maharadhi. So what does a Maharadhi mean? Maharadhi actually means a person who can, while he is on a chariot and fighting, he can save his chariot, he can save his horses, he can save the person driving the chariot, and at the same time he can fight with 11,000 others. So he is called as a Maharadhi. So that's the phrase that was used as an adjective for Lakshmana here. So we all can understand how powerful Lakshmana was, and the weapons that these two brothers were carrying now, they were actually making everybody shiver with fear. So they go there. After a few minutes, Dasaratha Maharaja is conscious once again. He gains his senses. Sri Ramachandra prostrates before him and says, "O Maharaja, O father, please give me permission so that I can go to the forests." Dasaratha Maharaja says, "O Sri Rama, I am not at all happy that you are going to the forest. I did not want to take this decision up, but I was tricked by this woman. I was actually tricked by this woman, and hence I had to do this. So, O Sri Ramachandra, please don't go to the forest. Instead, you fight me and you defeat me, you take me, put me in the jail, and then you take over and you start ruling this kingdom. Nobody is going to stop you, O Sri Rama, but please don't leave." Sri Ramachandra then says, "I know, father, but you will have to stay in the path of truth. You gave your word to Kaikeyi, hence please stay true to that word that you gave to Kaikeyi. Please let me go to the forest." And then Sri Ramachandra says many shlokas in which he tries to convince his father, and Dasaratha is not convinced. Then Sri Ramachandra tries to convince, and he says, "It's only a matter of 14 years. You have ruled this kingdom for thousands of years, and you are supposed to rule this kingdom for thousands of years. It's a matter of 14 years. I'll go and come back." And then he also says, this kingdom, which is filled with mountains, which is filled with resources, which has got a lot of states in it, this kingdom, as you have promised to Kaikeyi, this should go to Bharata, and Bharata is an able ruler and he would rule this kingdom very well. So, oh dear father, please don't take it otherwise. Please stay true to the principles of truth, and please let me go." And listening to this, Dasaratha Maharaja again starts to faint, and all the women who are there, they all start crying, looking at Sri Ramachandra's greatness and his ability to handle adversity. Now Sumantra is very angry. He goes to Kaikeyi and says, "Are you seeing that you are putting our Maharaja to great pain? See, look at how the ministers were in that kingdom." He walks to Kaikeyi there. All the women are crying, but Kaikeyi is standing strong. Sumantra goes there and says, "Aren't you able to see that the king is in great pain?" And Sumantra has done that because before fainting, Dasaratha Maharaja says, "Can't you stay for one night in Sri Ram, so that I can see you fully? I can feel your presence. Sri Ramachandra says, no, I'll have to leave, I leave. So that was the sort of conversation that happens. Sumantra is on the verge of breaking down. The king is begging for one night's time, and Kaikeyi is trying to push the matter even further. So while all this was happening, Kaikeyi was coming to the king and saying, no, please send them out, please send them off. Now Sumantra could not take all this. He goes to Kaikeyi and says, aren't you able to see that you are giving the king a lot of pain? The king, Dasaratha Maharaja, he has ruled all of us for so many years. He is a man with all great qualities. He is the man whom even the Devatas are blessing. He is a man who fought for the Devatas, who defeated the Asuras, and you are giving him such pain. What are you gaining by this, Devi? And then he says, she does not relent even after this. Then he says, now I remember that there is a word which goes saying that girls get the qualities of their mothers and boys get the qualities of their fathers. So, O Kaikeyi, I remember a story about your father. Your father made a great person happy, and that Mahapurusha gave your father a boon where he could hear the talking of even the ants. One day when the ants were talking amongst themselves, that your father smiled. He had a huge laughter, and his wife, your mother who was there, she went and asked the reason for the laughter. And your father said, if I tell it out, I would die, because the Mahapurusha who gave me this, he said that I should not share their conversations with anyone. And your mother said, even if you die, but I need to hear it. Then your father went and spoke to the Mahapurusha and asked if he could reveal this to your mother. And the Mahapurusha said, no, don't reveal it. Ignore your wife's request. Your father ignored your mom's request and he is happy. And today you are putting your husband into a similar trouble. Please, Kaikeyi, please don't do this. Kaikeyi won't relent. When Kaikeyi does not relent and Dasaratha Maharaja is again back to his senses, SriRamachandra is feeling an urgency to leave. What will happen? Well, that is something for us to see in our next episode. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम सर्वं सतु श्री सहस्त्र महाराज स्वामी चरणारविंदार्पणमस्तु. स्वस्ति. जय श्री राम.